new stage director for today. Here we are on our group view. So we're working with Dominic as our stage director. Wave your hand, Dom. Thank you so much for running the show for us. Kendall's out working, and we've got some new guests coming back. We've got John Callas. He's our special celebrity expert today. We're happy to have him. And we got Georgia back. She's going to be one of our coaches. There's Georgia. And we've got Kevin Gallagher, the comedian of last week, is back. He's going to be playing with his background, so be watching which background he does for each time he talks. He's quite clever. And then our returning 2021 class of BSA-LIVE. Let's say hi to Ella. Hi, Ella. Let's say hi to Zach. There's Zach. And he's at the San Francisco Bridge. I think that's what that is. And then we've got Avery. He is an alumni. He's a graduate of BSA-LIVE. He's one of our coaches in training. He's a director in training, and that's why I wanted him to say hi to John. And that leaves us Ethan. Welcome back, Ethan. And I'm Teacher Tony. This is BSA-LIVE. So what we're going to do, if we could, Dom, I want you to play the trailer for one of John's movies. He's done many, many movies, but this was one of his babies. This was all him. He wrote it. He directed it. He knew how to get it funded, and we got it distributed. And just an all-around great man. We're going to have a lot of stories that you're going to share with us, John. So let's play his trailer really quick. So we're going to go to screen share, and I will be giving stage directions in front of the audience so that we can give you guys the experience. So screen share for us. All right, Dom. There we go. And we're going to play John's trailer. This is called No Solicitors. There was another name prior to that. We'll talk about that as
well. On this quiet suburban street, there's a house unlike any other. And a family.
To us. Cheers.
Who'd love to have you for dinner.
I represent Sonic Realty. I noticed how beautiful your house is, and I was wondering if you'd consider selling it.
Why don't you join us for dinner and talk it over with my dad?
Oh, okay, well done.
What is it they want from us? They farm out our kidneys, lungs, heart, anything they can sell on the black market.
It gets worse.
Meat's so tender, it just falls right off the bone.
For God's sake, stop, please!
No God here.
I could stay here forever with your kindness.
I'll drink to that. You all saw the sign, but you chose to ignore the warning. What part of No Solicitors didn't you understand?
Eric Roberts, Beverly Randolph, Kim Poirier, and Felissa Rose.
All right, let's go back to the group view, and let's give John a big round of applause. Back to the group view for us. There we go. Big round of applause. John, sir, I, for some reason, have gotten an appetite. I'm a little hungry. I wonder why. Let's welcome John with a big SA. Big round of applause for a good friend of mine, a great director, a great studio exec back in the day. So, John, Mr. John Callas, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm like everybody else, just trying to get through this pandemic and keeping my hands clean. And they say alcohol kills the virus, so I drink as much every day as I can.
Inside out, yeah.
Wrong alcohol, that's right, I forgot, yeah.
So we already know a lot about you by watching that trailer, since I already told them that you wrote that. So in the sick, twisted mind of John Callas, what inspired you to write this movie?
Well, it started with, I have a sign on my doorbell that says no solicitors. And they keep ringing the doorbell, and I keep coming out with a baseball bat saying, can't you read? I don't want to be bothered. So I'm having lunch with a friend of mine at Warner Brothers, and he says, something's bothering you. And I tell him the story about, no solicitors, and I just want to kill these effing people. And so he says, well, why don't you write a movie about it and get it out of your system? Okay, so I decided to do that. But what I did is I went and looked at a lot of horror movies, and I thought, I don't want to do the traditional thing where a guy's chasing a bunch of bare naked women through the woods with an axe. So what would set this apart? What would make it my voice as opposed to all these other voices in the horror world. And I started thinking, what if I flipped it around? What if it wasn't so horrific? What if it was more like a Norman Rockwell family living next door that you wouldn't suspect? So I created Eric Roberts' character as a brain surgeon, leading brain surgeon. His wife is the head of the hospital, runs the hospital, and the kids would run the back office, which later we find out was not exactly a business that you want to be in. And so I met with Felissa and I told her about it, and she said, yeah, write the story and let's go. So I wrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it. You know, Tony, how many rewrites I do. So that was pretty much the genesis of the movie.
So you cast Eric Roberts. We all know Eric Roberts was an actor before Julia Roberts, his sister, and I know they did some cool movies together. And she went off to be a super celebrity. And John's just been he's just been working. You've been working. But Eric Roberts has just been working. So I had the pleasure of coming on your set when he was there, and multiple other actors. You had some horror celebrities on your set as well. So in casting, how did you get to Eric Roberts? Did you have to go to his agent, or do you have a friendship with him? For these kids that are going to be actors, I want them to understand the process of getting cast.
Okay, let me do the broader picture of what you just proposed. There are multiple ways of getting cast. Obviously, you need an agent. I think you need to know all the casting directors and get in front of them so that they know that you're out there. Otherwise, you're just another name in the books. As far as Eric, Felissa, who wound up being my co-producer on it, and in the movie, she came from Sleepaway Camp. Her agent represents Eric Roberts. And she said, would you be interested in Eric Roberts in the film? And I said, yeah, can we do that? And so we talked and came up with a deal, and that's how it transpired. It's difficult as an actor starting out to get in front of people, but if you get an agent and you get casting directors to like you and they see your potential, then I think those are some avenues that really help actors.
So as you go down in the casting, right, you got your star that's going to help you. We call it a marquee name that's going to help you sell the movie worldwide. And Eric Roberts obviously is a very recognizable name. And then you got some horror celebrities to come on. But to get your under fives, your day players, young people like this, if they were right for the roles, have a shot at booking your movie through an audition. So what do you look for as a director in a casting session to get them maybe the callback or to get a chance to be on your set and work with you?
Very good question. The thing that I look for is I give the actor the sides to read before they audition. I like cold readings for a reason. When they come in, they say, well, what do you want me to do? And I say, I want you to read what you feel the character is, because I don't want to give them direction. At first, I want to see what they bring to the table. Young actors, unfortunately, try to put every emotion into a 2-second skit, and to me, it throws me off. So I tell them, pick a direction and go with it. I want to see what you have. The next thing I do is I give them a couple of directions about how to change what they've done or suggest an alternative path to where they're going. And if they can take the direction, then I'll keep working with them and see if there's a compatibility. Then, of course, we're videotaping, and then I put that in the pile of consider. If they can't take direction or they're just too stiff or too nervous, then, without me saying it, they need to continue with the acting lessons and get more familiar and comfortable in front of the camera.
Right. And so a key word that I heard you say, and I've heard other directors and casting directors say it, is take direction. They may throw something that they're not even going to try to film to see if you can take their direction.
Exactly.
Talk a little bit about throwing curveballs at them.
Well, I'll give you an example. If a scene calls for an angry person, 99 and 9/10 actors will come out going, what I'd like to see is an actor come in and say, I know that you did it. And so it's more of an internal anger. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, it may not be right for the scene, but if I see that, I know I can work with the direction of the actor.
Well, like in Marlon Brando in Godfather, the less words he said, the better off you were. But if he said 2 words, you're in trouble. And he didn't yell at you. He didn't scream at you. You just knew you were in trouble when the Godfather gave you that look. It's like, that's power. Less is more. So again, taking direction, my young little BSA students, is really important. Let's talk to Avery. Avery, you're an up-and-coming director. You've worked with Steven Spielberg as an actor in small roles on Ready Player One. But let's talk to John, from a young wannabe director to a working industry expert. Do you have any questions, Avery, for what you would have to do to become a director? Can you think of anything to ask John? Or share some of your experiences you've had as a director, and maybe he can.
My experiences so far as a director has just been to experience it. That's kind of because I haven't really been able to pull together a crew to manage or actors to kind of move around until last month when I filmed a short film of mine I was trying to put together, and there was a lot I learned from just the experience of that, because there's a lot you can learn from reading, or there's only so much you can learn from reading and looking at videos, but I feel like actually being there and doing it was the biggest teacher for me. Actually getting to surround yourself by that environment and being in that chair of control, I felt was a big teacher regarding what I had to look after, what I had to be more open with what I had in mind, because I didn't take into consideration that my vision was in my head. It wasn't everybody else's. So I have to explain that to everyone. And I didn't understand that. So I wasn't prepared to give my vision out in a constructed format.
Avery, that's a good point. Let's address that with storyboards and shot lists. John, let's share your experience on how you get the crew to understand your vision as a director. Do you have any notes for him?
I do. Avery, I'm going to say something that I hope resonates with you. The first vision you ever get is the script. The second vision you get is the director. The third vision you get is when the actors come in and throw you curveballs, but actually they may come up with something better than what you thought the vision was. The fourth vision is when you give it over to an editor. Then the fifth version is when you finally put all the pieces together. So I think you're heading in the right direction. What I would ask you is, what's the first thing you do with a script? Because to me, there's two types of directors, which I'll focus on in a second. But what do you do as a potential director when you get a script? What's the first thing you want to do?
The first thing I want to do is figure out how we're going to film. I think for me is what the best way we can put it on camera. And then the second thing I'd like to do is find this without any hired crew, any cast.
The script is handed to you. What do you do?
Yeah. Find the right people for sure. Figure out what actors fit the vision the most is important, because you don't really want a lousy crew, because then it doesn't really match what you want. And if you're not happy, no one really is. So, yeah.
I think what you're saying is very important, and those are good steps. But I'd like to rewind a little bit, because to me, those are maybe fourth and fifth steps.
Okay.
So I'll just share what I do, and I'm not saying it's the only way, and I'm not saying it's the right way. It's the way I approach it, and it seems to be pretty good. The first thing I do with a script when I first get it is I only read. Ella, we can see you.
Welcome to my world, John.
The first thing I do, Avery, is when I read a script is I only read the dialogue. And what that does for me is it tells me the relationship between the characters and how they're talking about themselves and other characters. Quite often, young writers and young directors will get caught up in the description line. For example, Bob and Sue, Bob and Jim were really good friends in high school. They competed in sports, and they also competed for the girls in the class. Now, nowhere in the script does that ever come up, so it's useless information in the story, and the director gets waylaid into thinking, wow, they're big friends, and but there's nothing that tells the audience what's going on. So I like to look at the dialogue first. Second pass, then I start to look at what the description is to set the tone and the environment, which should still come out a bit with the actors or the dialogue. So once you have that framework, then you can take all the other elements with you, in my opinion.
Okay.
I love it. So this is just a little sample, Avery, of those of you that want to take my director's class. We work with other directors just like the actors work with other coaches. So I just want to make an introduction here for you. Sometimes directors let you shadow. And sometimes they allow you to second unit direct. A lot of times stunt coordinators second unit direct. But you can also get a DGA trainee credit where you go as a DGA and you're learning by watching people like John. So you guys want to build that relationship. So this is what we do here and make introductions. So moving forward, John, let's talk a little bit about how you got to become a director. I know you had done some pretty amazing stuff. You built the flying, it wasn't a unicorn, it was a flying horse. You want to talk a little bit about what that was and you in the studio world before you went independent?
Boy, that's a lot to cover.
We'll summarize and then we'll go back and do a show just on you.
What do you want to do first? How I get into directing or the TriStar logo?
Let's do TriStar because that's fascinating, and then we'll work back into how you got that gig.
Okay. The TriStar logo, I was brought to the studios to look at what they wanted to do. And I was introduced through a company called Intralink Film Graphic Design. And I was their sole production company that did all the trailers for them, live action trailers. And Anthony, who unfortunately passed away, said, look, we're going over to TriStar Sony, and they're going to tell us what this logo was that they want to create. And he said, now understand that they want this all live. So when you see it, don't freak out because it's going to be complex, and I'm sure you'll figure it out because that's your reputation. So we walked into the studio, all of the senior executives around the table, and they said, all right, which one of you guys is doing the production? So I raised my hand. They said, all right. So they unveiled the TriStar logo with the horse. And he says, do you see all these elements? I said, yes, sir. He says, I want every single one of those elements to be real. Do you understand that? I said, yes, sir. He goes, well, how are you going to do that? I said, well, I better find a flying horse first, I guess. Exactly. And of course, everyone cracked up in the room. And he said, no, come on, how are you going to do that? And I said, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know right now. You're just throwing this at me. There's hundreds of elements here. What format do you want to shoot it in? He said, well, we want to shoot it in 35 millimeter and we want to shoot it in 70 millimeter. Now, you all have to understand back then, CGI was just coming out. So the only element in that entire trailer were the feathers on the horse. Everything else was all live action. All of the clouds and everything were all live. We had a big backdrop, a 60-foot truss for the clouds. And it was a mammoth job. It took us about a year. And I believe to this day, it's still the most expensive piece of film ever created. It was $1.7 million for 17 seconds.
Oh my God. Dominic, can you Google that and look for that? And if you find the TriStar flying horse, let me know and we'll screen share it. So go ahead and look for it. So
if you can't find it, you can go to my website. It's on there.
What's your website for?
JohnCallas.com, www.johncallas.com.
Okay,
but I'm sure if you Google TriStar logo, it should come up.
Yeah. So again, Dom's running our stage for us today. Thank you so much. So John, how did you get that opportunity?
Well, I'd been doing a lot of work with Intralink, and they trusted me. I mean, I did, if you go on my website, you'll see I did tons of trailers, Ransom, A Few Good Men, Ted and Bill's Excellent Adventure. Wow. Yeah, it just goes on and on and on. So when this came up, I was the go-to guy. I was an exclusive for the company.
Well, I love it. You've been a strong connection for me. You and I have worked on some projects together. I opened up my Rolodex, which turned out to be an okay gig. I'm not sure it made you rich by any means, but it was definitely a start for distribution. And that's what I try to do, is I try to connect people and just see what happens. So it's like a little science experiment. So we've got a couple other guests here, and I like to take about 30 minutes to get to know who's here and what we're doing. So did you find the TriStar logo, Dom? Let's screen share really quick. and let's see what that logo you just described is. So we'll do a quick little screen share. Oh, look at that. You guys too young to remember it, but some of us older people remember it very well. All right, that was about 17 seconds. 1 point what million, John?
1.7.
Oh my God! And you invented the way to do that. It had never been done before, I'm assuming.
Well, no, the CGI work was done by Rhythm and Hughes, I think they were called. They did all that CGI stuff. So I had to come up with all the elements. How are you going to run a horse in a straight line against a green screen for 100 yards and have it stop at a specific place on concrete? So I found a guy in New Hampshire, of all places, that dealt with horseshoes, and he designed a special horseshoe that would run on cement. So then when I got into the conversation with the horse trainers, I said, how am I going to get this horse to run in a straight line and stop on a mark? He said, well, first of all, the type of horse you picked, if you keep his mate by the camera, when you turn him around and point him, he'll see the mate and run towards camera at full gallop. I said, okay, now how do we stop him? He says, put about a 3 or 4 foot wide black velvet on the floor. They don't have any depth perception, so when he sees it, it's going to look like the Grand Canyon, and he'll stop. And sure enough, every single time he stopped.
Wow. So John, Adrian Carr just joined us. I don't know if you two have met before. You're both directors. Adrian came from Australia as an editor, I think, and then was directing there a little bit and came to America and just took the world by storm. He's been working so much he hasn't been with us in a couple of weeks. So welcome back, Adrian Carr. Let's give him a big round of applause. We missed you. So Adrian's one of the OGs of BSA-LIVE. So I just want to make a connection between you two. Adrian, we were talking about the TriStar logo, so you can look at that on your own, but he created that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very
it was
memorable.
a lot of fun. Thank you.
So let's go to Georgia really quick. So welcome back. She pops in every so often, and we always love to have you. So how you been? Happy, I guess, I don't know, have I seen you since the new year? I think I saw you a couple weeks ago.
One time.
Yeah, well, still happy New Year.
A few weeks ago. Happy New Year.
So
Happy Chinese New Year.
I know you've been watching these shows on YouTube, and I know a lot of people watch them on YouTube, and so you kind of keep up to date. So we have some of the younger kids with us today. All the other kids that are not with us are actually on set working. So that's the whole purpose of this platform, is to get you out there working. We've got managers. Kendall just got a manager this week. We're really excited about that. And last week's episode, you'll be able to see what all the kids have done and where they are and why they're not with us here. But the ones that are here, we're working on. We had a big breakthrough with Zach a couple weeks ago. Ethan, we're getting ready to have a huge breakthrough. And last night, Dom had a big breakthrough with me. And really excited to see if he does it again in front of you guys. Ella Grace has been we're trying some real, show me your props, Ella. Make sure you didn't eat them. Hold them up.
We need proof.
He keeps eating your props. That's real food, because I want to have real experience in front of you guys. So that's her task today. And then Kevin Gallagher's back. So let's say hi to Kevin really quick, and we'll actually start our performances. Avery, which is our graduate, who's a director in training, is here to work with Adrian and John as well. And also, I think Dom's a director as well. So, Kevin, turn your mic on for us, sir.
Oh, excuse me.
So you got the nice little background behind you. I know that switches every time I talk to you. So, you okay?
I may have to duck away for a minute, but go ahead.
No worries. That little tickle in the throat we all have. So I wanted to thank you for entertaining us last week. You were quite humorous.
I'll try not to be today.
So, Dom, I gave you a link that's under Kevin Gallagher, and it says start, I think, about 3 minutes. There'll be a time code in there. Do you see it? Go ahead and screen share. We're going to show a little something Kevin did. A little spoof on Star Wars meets Star Trek.
Oh, great.
Star Trek, not track. Trek for all you Trekkies.
Star Trek Wars. That's
You
what
can do the Trek thing. I can't do it very well. Anybody do that? There you go. I never could do it.
Live long and prosper.
All right, so that's just space filler. Dom, go ahead and screen share, and you'll see a link on this. So go ahead and screen share for us.
You want me set up to the time it said to?
Yeah, but go ahead and screen share. We can watch you work behind. It's like a magic show. You guys get to see behind the curtains. There you go. Yeah, so pull it to that timeline, and this is just a little excerpt of a short that there's Kevin right there on the right. So here we go, and that's these are all characters that look like characters.
To reinvent Star Wars like it has never been seen before. I want to hear your thoughts. Please, anyone.
Well, there is no question that the people are going to want to see Luke, Leia, and Han again.
True, but how about some new characters? Like a stormtrooper. I've always wanted to see who's under those helmets.
No way, kid. George was always very adamant about not putting a face to the dark side.
Actually, I kind of like that idea. But what about some brand new droids? Like one that rolls around or something?
No.
Hey, everyone. All ideas are valid, so let's just...
You know, I really think we need to call George. He would know what to do.
I don't know. George sort of lost it when he made the prequels.
Hey, George is the creator of this whole thing, so how about a little respect for the franchise?
Maybe so, but people want something new now, something fresh, like what we did with Star Trek.
Now pull off for a second. Let us show some respect.
Wait, are you with us?
I'm a director, not a therapist.
Quiet, everyone. Now, I know some of you have worked with George and others haven't. But he's retired now, and like it or not, we have to make this work. So, are we all clear on that?
All right, let's stop it right there. Let's stop it right there. So that's just a little spoof that they did, and so Kevin acts here and there. He actually, he worked with Dane Cook on I think the Kids' Choice Awards. What year was that, Kevin, that you did Kids' Choice?
Teen Choice, 2006, mate.
Yeah, he was the pirate in that, so pretty
Arr.
hilarious. So it's always fun. He's like, where's Waldo? He'll pop up every so often everywhere, but he does it big or he doesn't do it at all. So we love Kevin very much. So
I can do subtle too.
We appreciate
I just don't do here.
So those are our coaches, and these are the class of 2021. So Ella's got to go. She's on the East Coast, so we're going to have her go first, and then I'm going to have Dom go second. And then do you have to go too, Ethan? Yeah, so well, Dom's running the show, so we're going to go Ella, Ethan, Zach, then Dom, and then we'll wrap the show up, okay? Does that work for everybody? So you guys make sure.
I got about 15 minutes on my next meeting.
Okay, well, you know what, Dom, I want you to go first and Ella second, okay? So I want them to see you.
Okay.
So can you run the stage show and perform?
Oh, I think I can.
Okay. Let's put our hands together for Dominic. We're very excited. And take us over to the main stage. Do you know how to do the main stage?
Yes, just gotta click speaker view.
Yeah. All right. If you guys want to see the way we're recording it, go over to speaker view and you can see what he's about ready to do.
Okay, so I'm gonna take over the stage.
And everybody mute your mic so he gets the stage. Mute your own mics.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not showing up for myself. Am I showing up for anyone else?
Good, okay.
Okay, good. So, here we go.
Wait, I can't hear him now.
Here, mute your mic.
Hold on. Let's see. Mute.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Taking it back over. Have you ever seen someone who didn't know what they were doing? They'd seen the way the teacher did it, and the teacher even helped them through it, but it still did nothing. Now, imagine that you step up and you take the reins. The first thing you have to do is go back to the basics. Start out where the teacher started and see if you can build on that information. If they start getting it from that, great. You can move on to the next step. But if they aren't, then you need to go ahead and break down everything. Rewrite the books. Make something new. You go ahead, take all this information that you get and teach it to them until they understand it. And when they start getting it the way you taught them, then you go back to the way that the teacher did it. You take all that information and you smush it together. When they start to get that, and it starts tying together and forming into a ball of knowledge, their face will light up and you will get a feeling of joy, a feeling of happiness. It's amazing. It drives you to teach, to learn. Now, imagine that you've gone 6 months without any of those feelings. Those feelings that drive you. All you do every day is get up and sit in the office for 6 hours. Same walls, same desk, same computer. Now you've become the lost boy. Instead of being the teacher for others, you need to have a teacher yourself.
All right, let's have you send us back over to the group view. And everybody, let's give him a big round of applause. So what we're working on with Dominic is we're trying to work on emotional connection, because most of the kids here are good with dialogue, but connecting, they're young, right? So connecting the emotion to the experience. And he wrote this so he could relate to it a little bit more. He's experiencing this in his own personal life. I think you're 18 now?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to go with John first. We're going to go around the room, and we're going to just say, again, we're working on trying to see what we could do from a director's perspective, which we have 3 of them, and from a viewer's perspective and a coaching perspective, and then me being a teacher. What we think we could do to help Dom go deeper, further, and get us to want to see more of this. So we'll start with you, John.
I think I'd like to look at the script with Dom and look at the curve, the wide modulation. I think there were opportunities there that he could strengthen the emotional content. Perhaps even show a little bit of frustrated anger in there because of what he was saying. Dom, who are you saying this to?
I'm saying this to a friend.
And is this friend somebody you like, or are you pissed off at him? Are you happy with him? What's the relationship?
Well, we're both kind of just talking. I'm trying to get them to understand something that's on my mind.
Okay. Is it something emotionally based from an experience you've had?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the character?
Yes.
I'd like to see a little bit more of that. I don't like to give too much direction because it'll confuse the process. So I like to take one step at a time. So that's what I would probably like to see a little bit more of.
Okay, thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
Now let's go to Adrian. Any thoughts being a director and a writer yourself?
Well, I second what John was just saying. With many of the scripts that we end up critiquing and performances, it'd be great to be able to sit with the actor and dig into what their subtexts are, like you do as an acting coach, Tony. So, but from what I just saw tonight, Dom, first off, it was well written.
Mm-hmm.
And like John said, my first question was, who were you talking to? Is that a brother, sister, friend? If so, what was the relationship between you and that person?
Mm-hmm.
Because once you're connected with that person, the emotional depth will come through. And I found you were on the surface still.
Yeah.
And you've written it about yourself and someone or a personal experience, but you're too busy getting the words out without knowing them, even though you've written it. So it's all there. It's now allowing yourself to express it. And one thing I would do, if you wanted to do it again later on, another day, is stand up as if you're a teacher giving use your space. And your whole energy will shift, trust me, when you're doing the expressive stuff. And at the point where there's a joy and happiness,
yep,
show the joy and happiness that you're expecting this person to take. But then you talk about how oppressive it is, like doing the same old thing over and over again, sitting in the office and it's all this. Sit down at that point. There's a point there where you can sit down on the word now. And then you're there in front of them. And that way it's closing it in so that it now gets more intimate about you're going to live this, you're going to do the same old thing, sitting in the office, confined, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that would be my initial thing. Try open yourself up at the beginning, and I think that will help you express your feelings more. But then if you want to focus it in, then bring us in with you while you're delivering the heart-to-heart part of it. Anyway, but otherwise, terrific.
Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Let's go to our third director, Avery Davis. It sounds good, doesn't it, Avery? Really kind of truncate what you got to say, because directors and writers, we tend to get long-winded because we really want to approach it like we do as an actor in the moment. But for the purpose of this show, get a broad view.
I have to just say I agree 100% with John and Adrian, and I personally couldn't say much more because they filled in pretty much all the gaps.
That's what pros do. I may
but-
have to have you go first.
It was good.
Okay, Avery, thank you. And let's go to Georgia real quick. Georgia, from your perspective as a stagecoach.
Hi, Dom. You did a really, really good job. That was definitely very well written. I definitely agree with Adrian and John and with Avery. I loved when you were talking about the ball of knowledge and how you really went down to that like kinesthetic voice. That was really just, I connected right in with that, as well as the pauses when you said the same walls, same desk, same computer. Those pauses were really timed beautifully. I actually felt very connected to your talk. I felt like you were actually talking to me. And I wouldn't have thought of the stuff that Adrian had talked to you about, but his advice, spot on, so good. The one thing that one of the things that I thought could have helped improve it would have been when you were giving the tips at the beginning, have them flow a little bit smoother. And when you said rewrite the books, I wanted to hear emphasis at that point. I wanted to have some type of maybe a little bit more visual feeling to it. I wanted to connect a little bit more at that moment. But great job, really good job.
Perfect. So, Dominic, did you get anything from the four coaches today?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to work on it and bring it back next week?
Yes, I will.
Okay. All right, let's hear from Dominic, man of many words. All right,
Hey, Dominic, I think what Adrian suggested was really quite good about standing up and then sitting down, because camera-wise, they can push in and all that silly stuff. But I think for you as an actor, that would be a really good direction to take. So it was a really good note.
I'm thinking about implementing that next time.
Yep. Yeah. And John, you had mentioned there's two types of directors. I know one, like the Coen brothers, they work together. One's about lighting and tech, and the other's about emotional connection. What were your two versions of directors?
I call them either a carpenter or a creative director. A carpenter director to me can read a script and say, okay, this person said that, this is what I have to do to connect the pieces. So they're literally building a little block. A creative director will look at that and say, how do I film this so that the emotional content of the scene is embellished with the camera? Not the camera taking over, but it has some relationship so that it's a creative vision as opposed to just cutting things together as a carpenter. So that's what I meant by the two types of directors.
I love it. And I know there's different directors that don't work well with actors. They just want to get the shot, and they take acting classes just so they can communicate with us, because we're a weird breed. We really are a strange bird. And then there's other directors that come from acting and then become directors like Avery, who totally understand the language of acting. So you'll find different personalities of directors. And so we have three here today. and you'll discover that you have to understand the director's personality as an actor. Yes, you approach it the same way for a character and you bring it, but there's things that a director is going to bring to you that you may or may not agree with, but it's the director's show, not the actor. The actor's the paintbrush, the director's holding the paintbrush. So no matter what your opinion is, the director always wins. Unless you're like a Tom Cruise or a, Marlon Brando. Depending on the level of the director, there'll be a discussion off camera, off stage on the approach and their relationship, and they're going to have meetings to see if they're going to be able to work together because it's a relationship. While we're at it, Adrian and all our directors, let's just talk about the dynamics of actor-directors. Your experience with various actors. Let's start with John. Do you work with actors at their personality, or do they have to work with your personality?
Well, I think since I'm behind the camera and they've got their butts out on the line, I really like to try to keep it focused on their sensitivities and their awarenesses.
And you're an amazing
one of the very
director.
first things I'm sorry.
You're an amazing director for that, because not all directors do that.
Well, I would hope they would, because the actor's the one that's vulnerable. I'm hiding behind the camera. I'm nice and cozy and comfy. But what I do like to ask an actor is, do you like to rehearse, or do you feel your best move is the first take, the third take? What do you like? Because if I know that, and I know that they really shine in a rehearsal, but then they kind of start waning down, I'll give a nudge to the camera crew and they know to roll camera while we're rehearsing, because I might get something out of it that you wouldn't get otherwise. There are other actors that say, look, I really suck at rehearsals. I need 2 or 3 takes and then I'm up and running, because then I can maybe look at the video and see what I'm doing right and wrong. 2 schools of thought. Some directors don't like actors to see the video, some like it. I think it's a relationship between you and the actor have to establish. If they prefer to see it and you don't allow them, I think you're holding back on their need. So I think it's a symbiotic relationship.
I love it. Thank you for that information. Adrian, talk about word perfect or improv. Do you allow improv?
And if there's time, you can, there's wiggle room. You can give an actor a take and say, hey, have at it, make it grown. Features, I mean, most of the work I've done has been involved with long talks with actors prior to shooting. So you have a pretty good understanding of what's, if the scene needs to be nailed per script, or whether there's latitude in there to feel it. An actor will improv anyway. They'll throw in odd words, and you just have to be careful that the words don't change the meaning or the tenor of the scene.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you, like John said, they're the ones with their butts out there, and if they don't feel comfortable, or if they can't connect the subtext between one theme and another within a paragraph, it won't read on camera. So if they are struggling, then you work out a problem. How would you say it? And they'll come up with and you go, that's the way, just do it.
Well, because writers spend a lot of time connecting the dots, and if you change one little thing, you change the ending, and maybe this actor's only concerned about their scene or their reel, and it's really important you understand what the purpose and the through line of the whole piece is. I had an experience where I was the head producer, and I hired the script supervisor, and then I had a scene to do, just a fun little scene, and I figured, I knew the script inside and out, and I was really involved in the writing. And so I figured I was going to go a little off script. My God, did she just chew me a new one. She was not letting me lose. I'm like, I'm your boss. And she's like, I'm your script supervisor. You are to say line for line, word for word, note for note. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I memorized it like that. Well, what kind of actor are you? And I'm like, I'm a producer that's acting. And she's like, well, get the lines right. I was like, holy crap. I love you. She saved our butt. But yeah, they don't let you, those script supervisors do, if they're good, unless you have a talk, their job is note for note. So that was my experience. I just wanted to share some fun stuff. We call them war stories during lunch. Okay, guys, because of time, we're going to lose John. Let's get Ella on stage real quick. So you ready, Ella? Do you have your props, or did you eat them all?
No, I still have them.
Don't eat your props. Okay, let's give her a big round of applause. Let's mute our mics and let's send her to the main stage, Dom. Big round of applause for Ella Grace. All right, everyone mute your own mics, please.
Oh, no, 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 no. I have got to teach you about food. Okay, close your eyes and take a bite of this. Wait, no, 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 no. Don't just hork it down. Here, chew it slowly. Yeah. Huh? You detect that, right? Creamy, salty, sweet, a bit of an oaky nuttiness. Now, try this. A whole different thing, right? Sweet, crisp, and a slight tang at the finish. Now, try them together. See? That's it. Now imagine every great taste in the world being combined to infinite combinations. Tastes that no one has even tried of. Discoveries to be made. Okay, we have got to get more ingredients. We're about to run out. Come on.
All right, Dom, let's get back to the group. Big round of applause for Ella. So Ella, you're 12?
Yes, 12.
Okay, Ella's 12. So we're working with Ella to get her to bring emotions. Obviously, being young, she doesn't have a lot of life experience yet. She has some. But what I've been trying to do is have her really taste the food. She ate it, but she didn't do it on camera. I don't understand why you didn't taste the food this time.
Oh, sorry. I didn't do it in rehearsal, so I didn't think I'd have to do it.
So I want you to say just a couple lines. The part, and you can do it in the group view like this, the part where you talk about the different flavors. I want you to take a bite and experience it. And we want to witness the experience before you say anything.
Okay.
Because right now you know your lines and you're just saying lines to us.
Yeah.
And you're fun and you're cute and we say it every week. But I want to take you out of Disney into Netflix, right? So I want to see you experience the sensation of the flavor, then tell us. So see it, then say it. Experience it, then share it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see you experience that food.
Okay.
And you can color outside of the lines this time. You can improv if you need to.
Okay, should I just start from
We want to start at the beginning because that's what you do, but just pick it up somewhere in the middle with the food.
Okay.
Just take a bite of the food, and I want to see we want to watch what happens. And I know you don't like those strawberries, and that's okay. You don't have to like them. We want to witness what you feel, what you experience. So have an experience for us on camera. And action. Take it in. Don't fake it. Don't fake it. Experience it. There you go.
Creamy, salty, sweet. A bit of an oaky nuttiness.
There you go. Try the next one now. Stay there. Stay connected. Experience this. And I know you don't like strawberries, but experience it. Take your time. See, she doesn't like it. Take your time.
Sweet. Crisp. And a slight tang at the finish.
That was real. Now put them together.
Oh, okay.
You're already projecting. Don't project. Don't result. Let's experience. Okay, go for it. Let it be real. That's real. I believe you. Cut. You don't even need to say any words. Cut. Big round of applause. This is what I want to get out of you guys. I want you to experience it. Then you can describe it. All you guys tend to describe it, and then
she's still experiencing it.
She had cheese the first time. She had cheese with her strawberry, and she almost. That's my job as a coach, but okay.
And one time I had to do cheese with kiwi, and that was not good.
Let's start with Avery, so he has something to say before our professionals get in there. Avery, what's your experience with her experience?
The experience, to sum it up, pretty much, just what Tony had you do. We could see that change pretty much instantly. How before you were you were just saying the lines to get them out, but when you have that experience, even if it does taste horrific, we could still see it and experience it with you. And that's the joy in having that opportunity there in the script to try something and experience it, and have the audience also being pulled with that experience. So bringing that with the rest of the script, with the rest of your with your character, because the person you're talking to is kind of slow and not really getting what you're saying. So there's a bit of frustration, but you're covering that with your passion for food and you're like, I just try it. You're just super excited to share this with somebody, but he's also the only person you could share it to. So there's that battle as well to go with. And I know I went off from what I was originally saying, but
Avery,
I'm just brainstorming.
I'm so proud of you, Avery, because this is what I want out of you. You're in my class as a director, so being able to have detailed description is what I want from you. All directors and writers and great actors can go on and on and on, but to put you in a format like this is not fair for me to do to you, but it's what I do. It's like I'm a talk show host. That's what I do. So, but what you do is you are in the moment, in the experience, and the way you're sharing, I'm just so proud of you, and I can't wait to see you directing feature films, because you're going to be great. Let's go to Avery really quick. Your thoughts both on Avery, by the way, and Ella's experience.
Wait, who?
You mean Adrian?
Did I say Avery? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about Avery. Adrian, we'll go to Adrian, and then we're going to have to let John go. So, Adrian, sorry.
Okay. Avery was spot on with where he was going with his notes. And I can't really embellish much more on that from the character point of view. I would suggest to Ella, watch the playback and you will see and experience the difference of what we saw. And when it comes to any role that involves texture, flavors, taste, sight, sound, smell, if you can experience those smells, even if you have to imagine them, if you can actually physically do it, you'll see nuances in your micro expressions of when you were trying, even with the strawberry. And if you're faking that for the person opposite, you failed. There was no way you could disguise the moment of you tasting it and then saying sweet. So, but it was so cute to be able to do that. But if you don't have the fruit to physically show people like that, and you're doing it from a sense memory, wherever you can, you try as an actor in your homework to experience those tastes, so that when you do express them, you can take the moment to remember what it was like. And that is what will sell the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So for us to accept it and go, wow, she really did know what she was talking about. She's actually tried this stuff. And technically, are you giving it to the other person to eat?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Each time you bring it up, I would hold it for another beat or two, because it was so fast, it was there and it was gone. We didn't actually get a chance to see it. So it's just a little thing like to bring it up, there, just hold it for a beat, then you can push it out of frame. But otherwise, cute as hell.
we love it. Yeah. So I'm trying to get her to really connect with truth, and she doesn't have much to pull from. So I'm making her experience stuff that she can. John, this is Ratatouille. It's about rats. I don't know if you've seen the animation. It's an amazing movie, but just a little backstory on what she's doing. And I'll come to you, Kevin, in a sec. So John, any comments?
Avery and Adrian covered it very well. Ella, when you do look at the video, your most honest moment was when you had this expression of like disgust on your mouth and you fell out of frame. To me, that captured me. I said, that's what I want to see with the whole scene. I want to see more of your facial expression. Like if it's something sweet, you might go, if it's sour like you did, your face crinkled up so much, it made me laugh. You got me at that moment. You drew me in. Constructive criticism. Young actors like yourself will tend to want to play the effect of the scene and the dialogue. Learn not to do that. Allow us to experience what you're experiencing so that we can come along on your journey. It little overplayed. I think Tony will bring it down like he was doing it, and you did a really great job. I'm not trying to say you didn't. I'm just saying that playing an effect it robs the audience of the experience you want us to have. So when you do see it and you fall out of frame, trust me, that's a moment that's just priceless as hell.
Thank you, John. Let's go to Kevin, and then we'll go to you, Georgia. Kevin, quick comments.
Oh, that was when I raised my hand there. I was just saying, I saw that movie. My sister wanted me to watch it. She was really into those Pixar. Is that Pixar, right? Yeah.
So if you were to do a rate card, Kevin, what would her score be?
Oh, I'd give her a 9.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
I love Ella. Ella, I think you're wise beyond your years, honestly. You're pretty darn good. Now, you're about as old as as old as I was when I did my first scene when I was in junior high school. I guess they call it middle school now. And there was this acting class at a church, and my first role was just perfect for me because I was, if you ever seen the old Rocky and Bullwinkle show, they had Dudley Do-Right, the Canadian Mountie, and there was Snidely Whiplash, and he wore the top hat and the whole thing and the little, bolo tie and all that stuff, and the cape, black cape. And he's the one that ties up the girl and puts her on the railroad tracks, that thing. And so I did that. I hammed it up. I was the only one that did. Nobody else really put one moment's worth of practice into that. Yeah. And I came with a costume and everything. I was just totally into it.
Yeah.
And so that makes me think of when I did that. But I was doing comedy back then.
Well, thank you, Kevin. We appreciate you. Let's go to Georgia real quick, and we're going to let John go. So this will wrap it up for John, and then we'll finish on our show. So, okay. Georgia, your comments.
Wonderful job, Ella. I would definitely agree with everyone. Avery, you did a fantastic job as well. Your feedback was really spot on. Nice work, good eye. And I absolutely loved, I actually really liked the very first time. And then I thought, oh my goodness, you did so much better. Or you even improved from when you started with the second one. I know for me personally, just a little thought, but for me personally, when I taste something and it's kind of like a relief, I'm like, oh, and I sink back in, and it just makes you want to relax. So I don't know, just something that might help it be a little bit better, but awesome job.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, big round of applause for Ella. And we're going to say goodbye to John Callas. That would answer your question, Adrian. So, John Callas, tell us how we can get a hold of you on your website so we can learn more about you and follow your career on imdb.com.
You put $10 in your computer. And, it's www.johncallas.com. You can reach out through email, check out the website if you like. Yeah.
All right. And John's built every year, maybe not this last year, but most of the years he's turned his living room pretty much into a train station. You build those little train tracks, and I mean, he's gone to elaborate lengths where he even put a book out with some of his designs. And I think you do it different every year. You want to talk a little bit about that, and I'll let you go.
Sure. It's Charles Dickens village. It's 5.5 feet wide and 22 feet long. And we build it up on about a 3-foot high level so we can work on it. We stand on it. We have hand-carved mountains, trains, snow, all the Dickens village people and stuff. And we're known as one of the largest scale builders at this level. It takes us 6 weeks to build, 2 weeks to put away. There are over 800 trees. You can go on YouTube and do time-lapse Callas Christmas Village, and you'll see a time lapse that I did over 60 hours that compressed down about 15 minutes of how we do it. And then on Facebook, you can go to Christmas Voices and see some of the shots of the village. And Tony will attest that no matter how many pictures I show you, when you see it live, it's a whole different world. It just captivates you.
It's amazing. And you're doing a feature film or a book on it. I mean, there's so much more, but I just wanted to give him a little teaser. Go check out his website, guys. There's so much about this man we haven't even gotten into yet. But
Christmas Voices is the name of the novel and the script. I got the investor pack, the schedule, the detail budget. I just need $7 million. Anyone got it?
You never know.
Adrian, you must have $7 million laying around.
Hey, if you look at that little camera, John, look at your little camera and you ask, and you might get it because this goes out in the Ethernet in the world of YouTube. This is forever on YouTube. So you never know. An investor might be watching, and you never know. You could.
Well, you know, Tony, I hope so, for not for just selfish reasons, but I'd like to see a lot of people that are hurting go back to work and get some relief, because that would make me happy, and that would be kind of more in keeping with Christmas Voices too.
Yeah, I love it. Well, we're honored to have you on our stage. Thank you for coming back. Big round of applause for John Callas as he goes off and does what he does. He's a busy man.
Lovely meeting all of you. Avery, keep up the good work. Adrian, love hearing what your comments were, and Georgia, the same with you, and everyone else. Just keep the good work up and listen to Tony. He knows what he's talking about. God bless everybody.
Bye, guys. So, okay, so thank you, John. So we've got two more quick ones, and so we're going to have Ethan go, and then after Ethan, we're going to have Zach, and then we'll call it a night, guys. So thank you so much for your time. So Ethan, what are you doing for us today?
I am doing my monologue. It's called Just So You Know.
Right, and you worked with your mom a little bit this last week or two?
Yeah, I have.
Did she put you on that treadmill behind you?
No.
You know I'm going to do it, right?
Yeah.
You want to start out on it, or you want to go to it second?
I'll go to it second.
Okay. All right. Do what you have planned, and then we'll give you the call back, and then you do what the directors tell you to do.
Okay.
Emotionally connect, okay? Don't worry about what you look like or what you sound like. Just start from an opening emotion. So whatever that emotion is, really get there, and then just ride the wave. Okay, Dom, let's take him over to the main stage. Big round of applause as Ethan goes on our stage. Mute your own mics if you could. Mute your own mics.
Okay. Why do you have to be such a loser to me all the time? You literally treat me like dirt. It's like we're not even brothers. You never want to hang out, and you're always so mean to me. Especially when you're with your stupid friends. I'm even in the same room with you when your friends stop over. You always tell me to leave. It's my house too, and I don't have to go into another room just because you say so. Just because you're older doesn't make you the boss of me. You're never there for me, not even as a friend, let alone a brother. Seriously, you don't even know who I am. We live together. Stupid. I hope that one day you stop trying to be so cool. Start treating me like someone you actually care about in your life. Nothing would be cooler, more important to me than that. Just so you know.
All right, let's go back to the group view. Let's give him a big round of applause for Ethan. He's been away for a couple weeks. So how do you feel? I talk about feeling, not thinking. How do you feel?
I feel like I could have done that a little bit better.
That's analyzing. That's a thought. What do you feel? Do you feel tingly? Do you feel upset? Do you feel like a thick feeling in your gut? Describe your feelings.
I feel a little bit like more energetic after that.
Okay. Do you feel that you were in the appropriate emotion for what your character's intention was?
I feel a little bit like that.
What did you want to accomplish? What was your character trying to do? Get his brother to what?
See what he's seeing and see how his older brother's not paying attention to him ever.
You wanted your brother's love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to be your older brother. Remember we did this a couple months ago? He's smiling.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Okay, so you and I, you're going to have to get me to pay attention because I'm just busy and I just don't have time for you. Okay? You want to do this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Get my attention. Ethan, I'm sorry, I'm busy, bro. I just don't have time right now, okay? Can you come back in like I don't know, an hour, please?
Come on, you never listen to me.
Ethan, listen to me. Will you please give me an hour?
You say that an hour before, and then you keep just saying an hour, an hour, an hour. It's
You know
so
what?
annoying.
Dad's gone, and if I don't bring in some money, we're not going to be able to live here. We're going to have to move. Don't you understand the importance?
I just wanted to see you for just 1 second.
You just
You're
want
never
you.
acknowledging that.
It's all about you. I don't see you working. I don't see you paying the bills.
That's because I really want to try, but I can't. I can't be like my older brother who never really sees me.
Wait. What did you just say?
I want you to see me how I see you, as my older brother. But you're going away, just spending all your stupid money, saying that you actually care about it. All you do is just care about your stupid friends.
I'm actually just trying to put food on the table. I didn't know you felt like that.
Well, you're always busy, 24/7.
Well, I guess you're right. I didn't think of it like that.
I just needed your attention before you left.
Well, how about this? How about you and I go for an ice cream cone in like say 15 minutes, and then I'll give you the rest of my life, but I'll give you a full hour just to talk to you. Is that fair? Can you give me 15 minutes?
20.
Oh, you're the best. I love you, bro.
Love you too.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, I'll come out and get you. All right. And cut. Okay. So let's go to Adrian Carr.
You know, it's when you're doing a monologue like that where you're talking to another character and they're not responding, so you get that interaction.
Mm-hmm.
That conversation has to go on inside your head for you to do a monologue like that.
Yeah.
And that's why I think last year I suggested doing it with someone else in the room with you. But it's you'll see when you watch the playback difference, and that's what we look at. I can't express more than what I saw happen in that second take. Yes, there were little refinements that could be done to that, but the emotion, what Tony was trying to get from you, came pouring out. And Tony, equally as an acting partner, gave you the feed to be able to respond the way you did. And that brought out the honesty and the truth in your relationship. So I would just I can't say much more than say, look at the video and you'll see the difference between truth and, I won't say faking it, but not being fully committed emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but well done.
Thank you.
Particularly the second reading. I was getting caught up in it with you.
Thank you, Adrian. We call it phoning it in. We don't phone it in. Let's go to Georgia.
Let me get my chair now.
Good job.
Good job, Ethan. That was really cool. I've watched you do that now quite a few times, and it's getting definitely better. Definitely better. I wanted to, the very first take, I wanted to see some anger in there. But then when I was able to watch it where you were interacting with Tony, the second take, it didn't need the anger. It had the feeling, and that was really awesome. So, and I would definitely agree with what Adrian said. Awesome.
Thank you.
Nice work. Keep up the practice. You're doing great.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Georgia. Let's go to Avery, our young director, graduate of BSA. Any comments, Avery?
Yeah, even the first go was much better than the last time you did it. You took the direction. You took that direction. You headed in the right. You used it to go in the right direction. And the second time when you actually did it with somebody, when you had the situation play out in front of you and you had the opportunity to play with it that way, we saw a lot more connection to your feelings and a lot more need. There was a lot more, it was resonating a lot more. We could tell really quickly what you wanted. And you didn't have to verbally say it until the end for us to understand. And you did a really good job doing that. And now that you have that in your head and you know how that made you feel and you know the feeling that you had during that moment, if you do it again, I don't know if you and Tony are gonna do that privately for next week, but if you are, try and keep that stored as a place to go back to for next week. Because if you pull that, doing it again next week, I feel like you'll have the breakthrough we're looking for.
Thank you, Avery. Wise words. And Kevin, really quick, what would you score that? You're our scorecard.
Well, the first one I'd probably give it about a 6, and the second one I'd give it about a 9. And all I got to say is what a difference a scene partner can make, because the first one looked like you're acting, you know. The second one, it looked like you're going through it, and it was just by the interaction there that it just cleaned it right up. And I was quite impressed with that. Very good, sir.
Thank you, Kevin. So, Ethan, I'm really proud of you. You're having breakthroughs. We just need to spend a little more time with you. And the more time I get with you, I think you're going to be able to have faster breakthroughs. So it's really going to be up to you with the amount of time you want to put into this. But I saw a huge breakthrough, so I'm really proud of you, okay? You happy?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're doing good. Doing good. Pretty soon we want to get you a new monologue, though. You can really wear out a monologue and you can kind of be bored. So I want to keep the inspiration. So why don't we start talking about a new monologue for you?
Okay.
All right, sounds good. All right, big round of applause for Ethan. Really good job.
Thank
so that
you.
brings us to Zach. I know you got. Do you have to jump off, Ethan? It's okay if you do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay. Well, we appreciate you being here. Give me a call later, and we'll talk about scheduling a private class with you.
Okay, I will. Right. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
All right, bye. All right, Zach. I like your haircut. Looks good. So I saw you being a director and pointing your finger at the camera, trying to get it to focus. That was pretty clever. At first, I was like, what's he doing? And I realized you were playing with your focus. So very cool. What are you doing for us today? Are you on mute? Are you on mute? Yep, that's the phrase of the year. You're on mute. You got your microphone turned on? There we go. I heard a click. You there? No. You got to test your equipment before you come live on the show. So you have to actually tell your computer that it's got a microphone. And in order to do that, you have to go into the settings and say, I'm using the external microphone, not internal. So do you know how to get into your computer settings? Yeah, you're going to...
We can hear you, but you're really, really, really faint.
Yeah, so unfortunately...
Probably the input volume.
Hello? Yeah.
That worked a little bit, but...
Yeah, we just don't have the time for the tech work. So you and I are going to have to do a setup before we start the showcase so I can we make sure your mic's working. And why don't you work on it a little bit? All you have to do is go into your settings, go to external mic, and then turn up the volume in your settings. Okay? So let's talk to our coaches really quick. We're going to slowly wrap up. If he gets his mic working, we'll let him do his monologue. If he doesn't, we'll have to do it again next week. So let's go to Adrian. You've been away for a while. What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
Well, I went to Atlanta for some personal time, and was basically wrapping up a short film that I think you've seen now.
Yeah, I have, but I can't show it here because it's
no.
Too fresh.
I don't think it could be seen on.
Yeah.
I don't think it could be seen on general.
No.
Exhibition.
No.
But it was something that we've been working on as part of a feature film script, and we took a sequence from it, and so it's part of it's we're using it as a short film,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really a pitch to interest people in the feature version of that particular subject. And we put a tag scene on the end that twists everything around so that hopefully people say, well, what happens next? And we've just entered it into the Palm Springs Festival, so we'll see how it fares. And we're about to do the festival circuit, but only ones that are worth merit.
Right.
And otherwise, I'm fully into developing screenplays that we've been working on. And the Dolphin Project is still, well, we've just finished our latest draft and it is knockout. I can't believe the difference, just a few tweaks, well, a lot of micro tweaks throughout the script. And it's been a great read, but now it's a ball buster. It just, you can't help but the emotions just flood out, no matter who reads it. So we feel like we've nailed it now. And we're in the process of really looking for investors, because in April, depending on what the weather conditions are like in Ohio at the time, we have to plant corn.
You've done that a couple
ready by
times.
September.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to remind you, I was a distributor for a while, and we learned that the Palm Springs Film Festival judges are some of the same judges that are the Academy Awards. So it's definitely a great relationship to put your piece there and then get seen and then maybe considered for the Academy. So, well, congratulations. We always appreciate your time when you come back to us here at BSA Live. So it doesn't look, Zach, let me know if you're able to get this going. I want to give you one last shot to perform. If not, you're going to have to do a private session with me on tech, and we're going to get this thing so the tech works. That way you can do what you've got to do. He's got a monologue and he's got a musical piece that he wants to perform for us. All right, so I'll give him a couple minutes as I wrap up the show. Dominic, have that last little link ready to end the show like we always do. He's on it. Thank you. Let's hear for Dom stepping up minutes before the show went to be our stage director. You saved the day, I got to tell you. Kevin, thank you. You were quite subdued today. I hope you're feeling okay. He was quite. Your background's changed every time last week. So.
Oh, we don't have time tonight. You got some serious stuff going on here. Okay. The place was empty last week, but I'm really seeing some good stuff. I can't believe that's Zach, because I did a double take when you said it was.
Yeah.
You got a haircut, huh?
Yeah.
You got a haircut? Yeah.
Well, so this is what we're going to do. So I always like to showcase the students. So Dom, before you play the ending, go to the Zach link. And I think it's at like 8 minutes. So when you go to our script, the show run, look for Zach. And then it's going to, is it not there? Oh, you know what? He screen shared that. Zach, are you there? Why don't you pop back on real quick?
One thing too for the audio, Zach.
Yeah, I think he's gone. All right. Well, I really tried.
Oh, he's there.
Do you have any sound? Can I hear you? Can't do any sound? All right. Well, do a private with me. We'll get your technical stuff working. And you left us with a cliffhanger. We all want to see what you were going to do. So come back next week and you can see what Zach was going to do for us. He was really, look at how hard, you're breaking our heart. What if you unplug the microphone and just use your regular computer mic? Oh, I'm so sorry. All right, well, come back next week. We're gonna see Zach perform for us. Yeah, heartbreaking. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps up the show. Kevin, thank you. Avery, thank you. And Georgia, thank you. George, do you want to say any final words? Get your mic.
Thank you for having me on. I absolutely love being here. I think you guys have some phenomenal direction, and I get to learn at the same time I'm here. So thank you for having me.
Oh, we love having you. Anytime you guys want to come back, we always appreciate you. All right. Anybody else need to say anything? Yes, Kev.
Hello?
Oh, we got sound. Look at that.
It's coming from my webcam now. It's not going to be very good.
That works for me. Well, let's hear what Kevin had to say. Do a quick monologue for us, and then we'll wrap up the show. We'll do your music next week when the mic's working, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just I just wanted to add that that little film, that was the one, Star Trek Wars. I got a Taft-Hartley for that, and it was under SAG auspices. I worked for free in exchange for the Taft-Hartley and SAG eligibility, and that was the film where I got it. So that's one way to. There's two ways. You can either get 3 vouchers as a background actor, or you can get a Taft-Hartley, or someone sponsors you or something, I guess. But that was how I did it.
Well, it was fun. If you guys want to see the full piece, where can they see the full piece, Kevin?
Just Google Star Trek Wars, and it's by Joshua Ho. And we did that at Cal State Long Beach, and they've got quite a film department down there. That is actually where Steven Spielberg learned, and he's famous for his school at USC, but he learned the craft at Long Beach, Cal State Long Beach.
Great casting.
They call it something else. Yeah.
All the characters looked like the real characters they were portraying. That was pretty amazing. Like Kathleen Kennedy and
George Lucas. George Lucas was
like George Lucas. Yeah.
Whoa. Not so much the Star Trek one. What's his name? Abrams. But George Lucas. Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. All right, guys. So we're going to see our monologue, then we're going to wrap the show up. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it every week. Those of you watching, if you like what you saw, just contact me and I'll let you know how to get a hold of the kids here. If you're having a casting, they'd love to audition for you. If you're a financier, we have a lot of projects you could invest in. And if you need directors and producers, we have those as well. So you've been watching BSA-LIVE. So what are you doing for us, Zach?
I'm doing a monologue from, what was it called? It's from Scent of a Woman.
I love your background. That was very appropriate. So are you playing Al Pacino?
Yes. Perhaps.
Okay. Is your character blind?
Yes.
Are you able to channel that?
I think I've got it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's give a round of applause. Send him over to the main stage. Everybody, mute your own microphones. All right. This is Zach.
But he's not a snitch. What a crock of shit. He doesn't want another chance to speak. He doesn't want to be labeled. Still worthy of being a brand man. What the hell is that? What is your motto here? Boys, inform on your classmates. Freaking protect your hide. Anything short of that, you get burned at the stake. Well, gentlemen, when the hits the fan, some guys run and some guys stay. Here's Charlie standing to the fire. There's George sitting in Big Daddy's pocket. And what are you going to do about it? You're going to award George and destroy Charlie. Out of order, who the hell do you think you're talking to? Out of order, I'll show you out of order. I will show you what out of order is, but I'm too old, too tired, too blind. If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place. Out of order, who the hell do you think you're talking to? I've been around, you know. There was a time that I could see. I have seen boys like these, younger than these. Arms torn off, legs ripped to shreds. But there's nothing like the sight of a torn spirit. There's no prosthetic for that. You think you're merely sending a foot soldier back to camp? Back home to Argoff? But I say you are destroying his soul! And why? Because he's not a bad man. Bad man. You aren't... You hurt this boy, and you're all a bunch of bad bums. The lot of you. And Bill, George, Frank, wherever you are out there, you. I'm not finished. See.
All right, don't ever say scene. That's a big no-no. But let's go back to the group. Big round of applause. I love the risk you're taking. We'll try to bleep out the F's for the youngsters that watch this, but that's okay. That's okay. You got a little sing-songy, right? You found a rhythm that you think Al Pacino does, and so you wanted to match his rhythm, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be careful you don't try to mimic. You got to do the same thing Al Pacino does as an actor. You break the character down, you find the truth, and you come from the experience of being blind, being angry, being not giving a bleep. And you get the same, you may get the same, I mean, he's an amazing actor. You might get close to his performance. But you got to approach it the same way, inside out. You cannot do the bridge where you watch TV and do what he does by miming and mimicking. So I heard a song, I heard a singy, but throwing that all aside, the connection you had with the big and being bold and being loud, that's what I'm looking for. All that other stuff I don't even care about. We can fix that. But that breakthrough that I'm watching you do right now, that's what I want to see more of. So great choice of piece, great going for it, great risk taking. I mean, I don't care about that other note I gave you. What I saw, I'm very happy with. So continue doing what you're doing. Let's go to Georgia.
Awesome job, Zachary. Nice work. I definitely liked the energy that you brought to it, especially as it kind of got more toward the end of it. It had more emphasis on it. Some of the stuff that I felt that could make it a little bit better was the accent. I was wondering if you were to let go of the accent, instead of focusing on trying to bring that part in, you could make it your own. Like it would become more of you being the character. And the character felt a little bit forced, a little bit. So, but I did really like your energy. And kind of like what Tony was saying, make it your own and really feel it and stand in that situation and get truthfully angry at the people that are across from you, at the people you're talking to. Feel that anger and project it toward them.
Thank you.
But great job. Nice work. I'm glad you got your microphone working.
Yeah, we both are. Thank you. Avery.
I have to say, I have to agree with Georgia and say that the accent, I think, pulled you out of it. I think you were focusing on matching the performance of whatever you got this from. Al Pacino, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you were trying too much to match that instead of create your own space and your own environment there. And I think if you go back and you do your own type of research and find your own rhythm, it'll make it a trillion times better than what you did right now. So that's.
Thank you.
But
Avery.
the base, the foundation was good, but that's what I have to say to make it where it needs to be.
And you're so close. Zach, you have no idea how close you are to a breakthrough. I mean, just make it your own, doing the 16 steps, and keep that same heart of a lion, and we're going to see amazing things next week, I bet. Adrian Carr.
I would agree with Georgia and Avery 100%, and with Tony's comments. Mimicking Pacino, it was good for one reason. It allowed you to express the thing that's been holding you back, the breakthrough Tony was talking about, letting you go full volume, Pacino style, going off on these guys, really opened you up. going to, and that was okay to let that go. Pardon me. But now you have to make it your own. So where did you get your eye injury?
What was that?
Where did you get your eye injury? What made you go blind?
I was in a street fight, got punched in the eye.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
So who are the guys? Why are you so angry at the guys that are going after the kid?
Because they're trying to just take him down for the sake of taking him down. Instead, they're like building up like a thing of snitches, just a bunch of like spoiled, snotty kids. So I'm trying to say that just because he's not like you guys doesn't mean you have to expel him, sort of like that.
Okay. Yeah. And going further along that line, so what was the whole story about the war, about people losing their limbs and things like that?
Well, let me tell you, it was World War. So yeah. So
how did that relate to? Why did your character bring that up in the scene?
I feel that, if I'm being honest, from my point of view, I feel like it wasn't literal like limbs being torn off. I feel like it was more metaphorical, like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not good with explaining things, but
okay,
more like a metaphorical, like breaking the spirit, like a loss. I don't know. Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, these are the things that are going to help you with making it your own.
Yeah.
Is really making solid choices. So how the blindness affects your character and what he's gone through with, I can't remember his name now, the actor, not Brendan Fraser.
Al Pacino.
No, the young guy.
Connell. Yeah.
Connell.
Mm-hmm.
It's like where this bond has been built between the two of you, and the other, because the bond is like an older man and a younger boy. When you say, I'm just getting too old, or I'm too old, it's really hard to see that coming out of your mouth. And talking about those sort of relationships, that's where having the right material or the wrong material can affect how you come across. But like Tony said, it's a great piece of material to break you out, but not a great piece of material for us to believe you. It's such a, because we've all been indoctrinated with the film, it makes an impression on us to try to set aside, and that's what we do in what we're doing now in watching you. We've seen what it's enabled you to bring out in your breakthrough, and now you have to dispense with that because you've done the breakthrough. Now you can take on any role that has that type of anger. We've seen it. We've seen you develop into that now. We've seen you allow yourself to let go. So you'll be able to find other scripts now that will enable you to do that, but someone more in your age range, so that we can believe it without second guessing it. And the other thing was following up with what Tony was saying about making it your own, and Georgia and Avery, the definitive performance we've seen on film by an actor, whether it be Jack Nicholson, Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, any of the actors who have delivered a stunning performance, very powerful performance, that becomes a defining performance. But that's not the only performance, that's their performance. Some of the actors are the 10th selection. What if Brad Pitt was going to do that? Instead of Connell, how would that have played? Brad Pitt would have made it his own, and we would have gone, wow, what a great performance. Connell did the same thing, and we go, wow, what a great performance. Pacino could have been De Niro doing the same thing. They make it their own, and each one in their own merit is a great performance. So the definitive performance is never the definitive performance. There's always another one. It's just how it's interpreted and who gets in first, I suppose, to make that final choice. But there, on a stage play, the same thing. Actors will pick up a theater piece and do it in one season. Another actor will come in and do it a second season. A different actor will come in and do it a third season. All different, all the same dialogue, all equally powerful, because the words are powerful. All they have to do is bring truth to it. And that's what makes it powerful for every actor, is the truth. So that's my piece.
Thank you, Adrian. I really appreciate what you guys bring. You guys bring a lot of experience and wisdom for these young actors. And hopefully you guys are really taking in what they're saying, and rewatch this on YouTube. Really listen to what they're giving you. They're giving you so much value. Kevin, scorecard. Drum roll.
Oh, you can always count on me to stroke you a little bit. I thought that was really good. I'm going to give you a 9.5.
That's bigger than everybody else got.
Let me tell you something here. I hear what the fellows say that have been in the business all their lives. Now, I was doing other things. I used to be in the grocery business. I used to deliver bread, and I was in business with my father making high security locks for casinos worldwide. And it was my own company. I had 4 corporations, and well, that came to an end by too long to discuss. But anyway, so I'm kind of coming at you more as a viewer. And I was so busy, there's so many films I've never seen. And so I can just watch these things. I don't even have to go to the movie. I can see some dandy films just saying, oh, you've got to see this, and I watch them. Now, what Zach just did right there, first of all, he set it up with that background photo. And the other thing was he got more into it emotionally than I've seen anybody get into anything. And he took risks. And as you know, I do a lot of dialects. I started teaching myself dialects when I was 8 years old. And the reason I did was there was a John F. Kennedy was president. And there was an album called The First Family. And the guy who did it, his name was Vaughn Meter. And he was the first person ever to be so bold as to imitate the president of the United States. That was unheard of. And he did it with style. And he'd say, well, let me say this about that, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. And I did that because he made me laugh and I was making my mom laugh. Laughs are love. And so I was hooked. And over time, I had a lot of time by myself. We lived out in the country. And so I just kind of was with myself, teaching myself different things, discovering things, figuring things out. And that's kind of where I'm at. And so he took the risk. And even though it wasn't a perfect dialect, the reason I like doing them is when I take on a character, I give them a voice. And the reason I do it is because it takes me out of myself. I'm no longer myself. I believe I'm no longer myself. And because of that, I become more convincing. And that's what Ivan used to be pretty impressed with me at one point. And I got strokes from people whose opinion mattered to me. So That and also Christina, our common teacher before Ivan, and you had been there just before I had, and I thought that was really good, and that was the strongest emotion I've seen here yet in this class. That was very strong, and what you lacked in delivery, you did it in spirit. That's what I'd like to say about that. So excellent, Zach. Excellent.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. So today was really powerful in breakthroughs. I think all of you guys experienced your own breakthrough in your own path, your own journey. And if you watch this as a whole, there was a lot of valuable information that's priceless for you guys watching this. So again, let's thank our coaches. Dom, I want to give you final words. Anything you want to say to wrap out the show before we go to that last little card that Kendall made for us?
Oh, some wise words.
They don't have to be wise. Don't
Stay warm. America's cold right now. Stay warm.
Okay. I love it. So Dominic's our stage director. I really appreciate him stepping up and doing a great job. So he's gonna end the show, and then he's gonna upload this to YouTube for us so we can watch it tomorrow. So wish him luck. He's never done it, so we'll see if it actually airs. I'm sure it will. He's very, very, very smart. You guys, I'm just proud of you. The breakthroughs, the challenges you take, the risks you take. This is how we get better and better and better. And eventually, you guys, we're going to be watching your work on screen. We're going to be watching you do what you love to do. If you keep doing it here, it's the same thing on a set as it is in a classroom. The only difference is we're trapped in these Zoom boxes, and eventually we'll be free. Our sentence will be over, and we will be back on a live stage or a live set. Okay? All right, guys. I'm Teacher Tony. I'm going to give this stage over to Dominic. He's going to end for us. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Really appreciate all your wise words and your great performances tonight. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye. Let's go ahead and screen share for us.
Hey guys, it's Kendall. Thank you so much for watching the show. Please make sure you check out our BSA channel and like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you next week. Go ahead and stop the recording now.